Hey everybody, so we're live, so I'm just going to be playing a little... Okay, sorry about that. My internet was having really weird problems. That seems to be kind of a constant in Canada. I find pretty much every place I've ever worked or lived, the internet's been completely and utterly unreliable. But not a lot I can do about that at the moment. So yeah, so like I said, we are finished more or less. End to Evangelion will be coming out sometime this week. It's basically done at this point in time. I mean, I finished recording it. It's uploaded to the what's it called again? Why am I stuttering so much? It's uploaded to my Google Drive. So yeah, we're just waiting for the finishing of it. We're just waiting a day or two, and then I'm going to put it up. So I just figured I'd come on, and if anybody had any kind of outstanding questions about the series, things people wanted my opinion on, stuff people wanted explained, I would explain them. So just open it up. Open forum, I guess, is how it would be described. So I guess thoughts on the series. Did people enjoy it? Is there another series kind of like this people would want me to do in the future? I might consider doing one, just this took a lot of time. I'm not going to say like views. I don't want to be Mr. Views, but I don't get any views really for these. So, have you seen Evangelion Re-Death? Yes, I did actually stream Death, but it was so unwatchable. Sorry, Re-Death. I haven't seen Re-Death. I've just seen Death, and Death was unwatchable. And I canceled the stream when we were trying to watch it because Death is so bad. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So that happened. What else is going on at the moment? Let's see. Oh, good. I can finish off Savoy. It's basically the first abridged series. No, I haven't. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll not. I'm not really sure. I gotta say, when I was rewatching End to Evangelion, I had forgotten the voice acting is really, really bad in End to Evangelion. Like, awful bad. I was kind of surprised. I had remembered it being a little better than it was, but it was kind of wretched, TBH. But nah, my opinion on like is End to Evangelion good? Is it bad? It's really hard to say. It's probably kind of one of the more difficult movies to properly rate. Have you ever noticed how the cockpit seat looks like Zeruel's face? No, I didn't, but that's an interesting observation. That's probably true. I'm not sure, but I'll take your word for it. That sounds like something Anna would do. All the series plus End to Ava into 30 minutes? Wow. Oh, I thought it was longer than that when you said it was like an abridged series kind of mock up. I'm kind of more interested that I know it's like that short, but yeah. Re-Death. I know I've let you down. Let me think here. So people keep asking me how I feel about the rebuilds. I really liked the rebuilds when they first came out, as I'm sure most people did, just because it was something new. Like after decades of silence, like after like over a decade of not having anything new, it was nice to have a new Ava movie coming out. And I think most people just were really excited, and I was too. I'm like, wow, I get to see this on the big screen. I get to watch this stuff, and I saw it was at a special screening, both one and two, and I really liked them at the time. But as but as I kind of got older and I thought back to it, it kind of ruined a lot of the things I really liked about the original. And then we got Q, and it took me years to watch Q, and I only watched Q for a on stream, and Q was just unwatchably awful. I couldn't believe how bad it was. It was a complete and total rape of pretty much everything. Did Ava ever view in USA or Canada? No. I don't think it's ever viewed on North America off the top of my head. I doubt it would get past censors, especially the last couple episodes. I have to say though, episode 25 was a lot worse than I thought it was. If you watch me play it, watch me. My view of it was just basically me complaining. It's just like, this is so bad. Why is this so bad? Why is this like the worst episode, like anime episode ever? And that was basically just my commentary. I kind of feel bad how bad my commentary was for episode 25, but it was a really bad, like, it was, I don't even know how to describe it. How could one describe like nothing? 25 was bad. 26 was like not good, but not bad. 26 had some charm to it. Kind of, I guess you could say, a shitty charm to it. End to Ava was just a clusterfuck. It was like a very interesting clusterfuck, but it was a clusterfuck. The fact that it's generally remembered as being like the greatest mindfuck in anime, I think says something. And I think it's a title that's 100% justified. Feel bad about 25. Get over it. It's just a low budget episode. It was funny because I was talking to Jolly Crocodile, and he said they should have combined episode 25 and 26 and used the budget for both of them to make one episode. I'm like, then it would have had a tenth of the budget of a normal episode instead of a 20th of the budget of a normal episode. Let's see here. Gonna have to go to war against Germany if I want to take the rest of Savoy, but I want to take the rest of Savoy, so it is what it is. Let's see here. I should be able to beat Germany. I have a much larger army than they do. Conquest. So yeah, I never liked the alternate universe. It was just, I don't know, it's just lame. I don't like anything I'm trying to think, anything that affects memory, because memory is kind of the central aspect of identity. Let's see here. They probably promised the studio for the series to have 26 episodes, and then they got to episode 25 and they're like, holy crap, we don't have any ideas left for the remainder. Let's just make some shit up, and then we'll release that and pretend that like it was planned from the beginning. I guess is kind of what happened with 26. The Ava fan base is kind of a mixed bag. In some cases, I really like them. In some cases, I really hate them. It's very hard for me to kind of say how I feel, because there's some fan bases that I find like completely intolerable, and then there's some which I kind of like. It's a pretty good fan base. I've dealt with a much worse fan bases than that one, to be honest. So I don't know. Just if anybody has any like questions on the series, things they want me to attempt to explain, things you want my opinion of, characters, mysteries, all that kind of stuff. As you may have noticed, I've done a lot of research on it over the years because it is just such a fascinating. Shinji rejected some grade A pussy at the end. Well, there wasn't really time for that, to be honest. At the end, he was kind of catatonically depressed for very obvious reasons. One of the things that really irritated me about the end was the whole Shinji jerking off over Asuka scene, because that was clearly just put in as a fuck you to the fan base. I mean, I don't really see how you can argue that there was anything else to that other than just Ano saying, "You're a bunch of otakus, you have a thing for Asuka, just fuck you, this is what you're like." And I feel like that's pretty obviously what the point of that scene was. It's really out of character for Shinji to do that. And it just seemed like a desperate attempt to make him less sympathetic before the big end of the world scenes. As I was watching Into Ava, I think one of in my view, one of the biggest mysteries is what is Gendo's ultimate fate. Because obviously Unit 1 materializes and bites off his head at the end of, or some part of the way through Into Ava. So the question always is, did he die Evangelion genocide? Yeah, I like genocide. Genocide's good. Rommel wrote that, if I recall. I've read most of the main Evangelion fanfics. If you're looking for something, let me just see. Let me see if I can find it, because I was actually planning to do a supplemental episode on Evangelion fanfiction. I just never got around to it. So I'll post what I have in the chat. Or you know what, I'll just bring it up and we'll take a look at it. We'll talk about that. Thoughts on Old World of Darkness? I really like the game. The video game, I haven't played any of the other stuff, really. Is this Victoria 2 with mods? Yeah, I forget what the mod's called, though, because I have low agency. Actually, I don't have low age. I just, in this particular case, I do. Let's see here. Let's look at some Evangelion fan fiction, shall we? Window capture. I want... Not that, not that. I want Chrome. There we go. I mean, that's something I've heard a lot about. Gendo deliberately being a dick so Shinji could trigger instrumentality. I don't know. There's probably some truth to it. I don't really know how to feel about it. That used to kind of be my go-to, but now I just wonder if Gendo just isn't really kind of incompetent. So let me go through kind of on the technocracy of Old World of Darkness. I do want to do one on the Camarilla at some point. That is a episode I want to do. So let's go through my favorite Evangelion fanfic, shall we? Because I am actually a really big fan of fanfiction. I just never really talk about it. No, Gnosticism is not a valid form of Christianity. And do not touch the Kabbalah. Okay, so this is probably my favorite Evangelion fanfic, Advice and Trust. So the point of divergence here is Shinji, when him and Asuka are kissing, he instead of just kind of standing there, he almost passes out for lack of breath, and he grabs onto Asuka to prevent from falling over, and she interprets that as him embracing her. And they kind of start talking to each other and reveal their feelings. And it's a extremely fluffy. It's like super, super fluffy. And they go through the entire rest of the series, the guy who writes it. And overall, he just does a really good job. It's a lot of fun. I think he's still writing it, actually. You got to give the guy credit for his work ethic. He got through 300,000 words and he's still going strong. So he hasn't put up a chapter for a little while, but his chapters are like the size of other fanfics. So I'm sure it's going to be over. They kind of brought in some other stuff later. I tend to really like fluff. So let me see, what else do we have here? Nephilim Complex, which is a very kind of unusual one. It's sad that he never finished Nephilim Complex. So, Asuka getting love from Shinji wouldn't probably change anything. And Advice and Trust is just super fluffy. I really like it. So, Nephilim Complex was a really strange one. Basically, Shinji has an invisible little sister named Nephilim, who is... I don't know if he got far enough to establish who Nephilim was. But it was very interesting. It was kind of super angsty compared to a lot of the other ones. It kind of takes a very different perspective on the relationship between Asuka and Shinji. It's kind of hard to describe. Kaji is kind of a main villain in it, which is sort of interesting. Let me see here. But no, I really like Nephilim Complex. I'm trying to think of how else to really describe it. It's too bad because the person who wrote it basically just gave up, and they didn't feel like writing it anymore. So I think because it got so violent and gory that they basically kept getting flagged. So I'll post a link to all of these below if anybody wants to read any of them. Let's see here. Child of Ava, there's kind of a collection of of fanfics that take place sometimes near the end of the series. Spawn of Adam is one. Child of Ava is one. There's a couple others, but I recall it being pretty good. So I'd probably recommend Child of Ava. Let me see, what else do I have here in my bag of tricks. Let's see here. I can't pronounce it. Propinquity. Propinquity was kind of a interesting one. It's very short, but it had just a lot of very fluffy, good character driven parts. So I really liked that. As with a lot of these people, they made a sequel, but the sequel had virtually no stuff in it whatsoever. It was just super short and underdeveloped, which is something that always irritates me when fan fiction writers go to the trouble of making a sequel, but then just do absolutely nothing with it. Which is kind of a common complaint I have for a lot of this stuff. I haven't watched Super. Is Super any good? Just because, like I said, I've never actually sat down and taken a look at it. Oh, let me see, what other fan fiction do I have? My other favorite one is I'm trying to think how to describe it. Literally the most angsty thing of all time. What was it called again? Scar tissue. Okay, scar tissue is literally the angstiest thing ever written. Scar tissue. Basically, it takes place after End to Ava, and everybody's just super, super, super PTSD. Shinji's like almost catatonic. Asuka becomes just a complete and utter psycho in it, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I really like that. That's one of my all-time favorites. Just how angsty, over the top, kind of depressing it is. I kind of like anything that's super. I like anything that's either fluffy or angsty. I guess is kind of the way I describe my favorite types of fan fiction. Let's see here. Why am I not able to get into my... I'm trying to get into my fan fiction account. Just while we're talking about it, maybe I'll go through some of my other favorites. Thoughts on Chad God versus Virgin Satan. I don't know. That sounds kind of weird to me. I have absolutely no idea about the Khazar thing. It never really interested me. TBH. Let me see here. What else do we have? What was a new scenario? Let me see. Some other Evangelion fanfics I like a lot. A new scenario is an interesting one because basically it's a time travel fic, but it's both Shinji and Gendo, and they've both come back to collectively try to fix the world together, which is it's kind of cool watching them work as a team for once, and they're both kind of badasses. I kind of like Fixer Sue Fix or stuff like that, so that one was a lot of fun. I'll put that down here. Oh, let me see here. You Cannot Forget was pretty good. Hmm. Let's see. I Have Advice and Trust. Veering Left was pretty good. I don't know. I could go into some of my favorite Song of Ice and Fire ones. Maybe I'll just talk about that since I'm kind of just... I've already kind of condemned myself in the eyes of my viewer base, so let's see. Some of my favorite Song of Ice and Fire ones. Angel is a really interesting one because basically it's kind of an alternate. It's an alternate history of Sora. Basically, in this one, when Jamie becomes the guardian of which characters are your ego, superego, and id? Okay, people are asking me questions now. Did God cuck Joseph? No. What happened with what happened with Joseph and Mary is we're pretty sure Mary was a consecrated virgin. It was not uncommon back in the day for there to be consecrated virgins, kind of like nuns. And what would often happen with them is they would marry the consecrated virgins off to a widower, and the widower would take the role, would basically be their protector. So most people tend to believe that Joseph was an old man who was chosen for that kind of thing. So that's generally what I my point of view tends to be about that thing. So let me think here. So yeah, so End Evangelion is very much kind of a hate, a love. I have a very love hate relationship with it compared to a lot of other series. I'd probably give Ava a 9.5 to a 10. The problem with Ava is it's just very uneven. It's, I mean, the first like half of the series I think is a much above average, but somewhat generic. It's a very much above average, a much better kind of quality product movie. Sorry, a mecha series. But then once we kind of go on the from further on, we start getting into really kind of the weird, more esoteric stuff, and then we get to like the last couple of episodes, which are I think pretty overwhelmingly good quality. If people are interested in what my favorite episodes are of Evangelion, my favorite episode is episode 19, A Man's Fight, the one with Zeruel. My second favorite episode is, I'm trying to remember, is episode 16, Splitting of the Breast. The one with Liliel, I think is her name is. The giant zebra shaped one is probably my second favorite one. What number 3 is probably At Least Be Human or Don't Be, I think it's called. The episode where Asuka gets mind raped. My next favorite episode is probably 21, The Birth of Nerve. And my episode... my fifth favorite episode is episode 24. Because I do really like episode 24. It's just very much a... annexation of the Ivory Coast. Cool. Because I kind of call it the best and the worst episode at the same time. Because there's a lot of really good aspects to 24, but it has, as I've called it, the only genuine plot hole in the franchise, which is the whole nonsense about like Quaru not knowing it's Adam, but he also knows it's Adam, but it's not. So he like goes to Terminal Dogma because he's trying to find Adam, even though in like the director's cut they add in the scene where he's explicitly told that Adam is not in Terminal Dogma, but that he's actually in. He's not in Terminal Dogma. He's actually in Gendo's hand, but he doesn't know that, even though he was told that earlier. And it perplexes me because it's I call it the only genuine plot hole. And people will say, well, there's all this other stuff, and that's more just kind of stuff that doesn't make any sense, or is deliberately ambiguous, or is just kind of otherwise dumb. But the whole thing with Quaru not going to Terminal Dogma and being like, now I understand the Lilim Lilith. Well, how can you understand? Like, it's just, it's not established. It's not explained at all. So, yeah, I don't really know how to even explain it. It is a, yeah. So, someone mentioned, what was it again? Someone mentioned Did Ono shit on his fans with the later movies? Yes. Short answer, yes. Q was made specifically, in my humble opinion, as a big fuck you to the fan base. Q, I have a commentary track for it. You. Oh, fuck Q. Q is just. I don't even know how to describe Q. Okay, so basically what happened in Q was after the events of 2.0, Shinji, for whatever reason, was sent into orbit for the next 10 years or something. And then he was in a coma, but he hasn't aged. And he comes back to Earth, and it turns out that Asuka hasn't aged either. And because of that, and because of his actions causing near third impact, near third impact, even though people told him to do it, he gets blamed for the disastrous state the world's in. And there's a civil war between Misato and Ritsuko on one end, and Gendo and Fuyusuki on the other. And NERV is now run by robots, and Quaru's part of NERV, as is one of the Rei clones. And Shinji decides, they put like this choker around Shinji's neck that if you press a button, it explodes. And they have it around his neck, and no one explains why. No one explains like why any of that stuff. I don't even like it's hard for me to even describe how much Q sucks, so I'm not even gonna try. It has Mari in it. Fucking Mari. If anyone wants to know why the rebuilds suck, I'd say the worst aspect of them is maybe Mari. Mari is a Mary Sue who was inserted just so they could have another female character. Fourth movie, there's Unit 1 on a horse thing. That sounds terrible. There's this giant whale ship called the USS Wonder or something like that they build for reasons I can't even imagine. And it might be an Ava, it may not be an Ava, I don't really know. It's like everything else, it's not established. The rebuilds just become complete trash. Like, they had a lot of potential at the beginning, but I think the whole thing was just a massive troll. Also to make money. It is very much the Star Wars reboot of the Ava series. Especially Q. Q is substantially worse than The Last Jedi. And you know how bad I think The Last Jedi is. Q makes The Last Jedi look okay. Mari is just so bad. What else did they put in the rebuild? Okay, so we had Mari, and Mari was insufferable. Asuka's role is dramatically reduced for some reason. Why her role was reduced, I don't know. I guess they just maybe didn't want to deal with her anymore. Let's see here. Claim Togo. Do I have any other events I can do? African Mines and Farms. Cool. I think I'll just organize Togo. I don't really have any. It's not particularly valuable. Free up the colonial points. Yeah, there's this weird scene where it's just, I just don't, it's hard for me to tell. I don't know like what the thought process was when they created the when they made Q. Like I said, it's so ill conceived, it's so badly planned out. The only explanation I can come up with was it was just a fuck you and nothing more. Does Ono have open contempt for his fans? Short answer is yes. Long answer is yes. I think he does. I think he's a mad genius. You know what they say, you either die or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And Anno kind of became the main villain of the Eva franchise. Anno is a really, really weird dude. Just in general. Like, as kind of a show of how trollish the into Evangelion is, there's literally a scene where he shows some of the death threats he received. Like, it just randomly cuts to the death threats he received as an example of humanity's suffering, which I think says something. It says a lot, like everything else about this franchise. Evangelion by Michael Bay, where Shinji just does everything right and fucks everyone. Are rebuilds a mortal sin? Will Anno go to hell for them? Maybe. Like 20. Like the first one wasn't that bad. The second one was passable. It's, you know what? Maybe I'll do a live stream of. There's no way of doing it. Okay, you know what? Here's what I'll say. I will, if I when I reach 5,000 subs, I will do a full analysis of Q. There we go. I'm saying it now. If I do 5,000, once I get 5,000 subs, I'll consider doing a live stream of. I'll do a full analysis of Q. That is my thought. Oh, I really, really don't want to do it, though. I already watched it on stream. I don't want to watch it again. No one should have to sit through Q more than once. The fact that it's called Q, I think, says something. Like, part of the reason I say it's a massive troll is because it's called You Cannot Redo, but the whole thing is basically Anno hitting the rebuild button. Like the reset button. It's basically just like a reset of the series, more or less. Let's see. I don't really want to have to deal with Togo, so I'll just. I can't release nations while I'm at war. Do a Let's Endure with viewers. No, because I already did a Let's Endure with viewers, and if I'm gonna bother to do it, I want to have like a permanent video I can put up and just leave up. Why is Anno remaking the series? Because greed. That's my best guess. Maybe because Gainax hasn't put out anything for a while. Let me see what Gainax has put out in like the last year or so. Most of Anno's other stuff is actually pretty good. DSP Patreon goal where he has to watch the rebuilds. I mean, the first rebuild is okay. It's just a carbon copy of the first show. It just made me wish I was watching the first series. So what has Gainax made lately? I thought Gurren Lagann was appallingly bad. I know a lot of people here like Gurren Lagann, but I hated Gurren Lagann, so I thought it was terrible. If you want to see something good Anno's done lately, I actually like Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is basically an Evangelion live action movie. Because they didn't let Anno make an Evangelion live action movie. So because they didn't let him make a live action movie, they let him make Shin Godzilla. And it has like all the Anno stuff, like where he shows random trains, he cuts to random like power converters, all that kind of stuff. Is this EU3? No, this is Victoria 2. Alliance offer from Greece, I might as well accept. Maybe I'll send one more colonial army to Egypt. Yeah, I really like Shin Godzilla. You actually don't like Gurren. It's just lame. I don't even know how to describe why I don't like Gurren. I just hated it. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the setting. I didn't really like any of it. Shin Godzilla is literally a live act. Like, he literally, because the JSSDF is in it, and he literally copies the scenes from Ed to Evangelion. Exactly. Let's see. What else has Gainax made? They made some Madoka box. Okay, I might have to watch that if Gainax made it. Or is it Harem? No, it's not Harem. Okay, so I might have to watch that just to see what they've done. Wish Upon the Paradise. Piano no Mori. That looks really weird. Die Buster. What the heck is Die Buster? Yeah, but if you want to watch something good Ano's made, other than Ava, Nadia's Secret Blue Water is excellent. What else is good that he's made? His and Her Circumstances, I absolutely love. So if you want to watch something else Ano made, His and Her Circumstances is probably my favorite high school romance anime. And I'd also recommend, let's see, The Kingdom of Palmer. What the heck? We will approve the treaty. Okay, sure. I'll approve the treaty. So that stuff is like old school Ano. That's good. That's old school Gainax. Shinji is actually just a recolored Nadia, which amuses me to no end. But it's really good. It's Nadia's Secret Blue Water is, I call it a big sloppy love letter to the Victorian era and to Jules Verne. Because I like Jules Verne. I really like Victorian era stuff. I really like H.R. Haggard stuff. So, yeah. By the way, is there any other lolcow books I could do on stream? I'd love to do some more. Because I had a lot of fun doing My Twisted World, and I had a lot of fun doing Brick by Brick, the Super Mario book. So if anyone knows of any other lolcow books I could do, let me know. Because that would be a lot of fun. Die Busters is old school. I don't know if there's another anime that I want to do a complete analysis on. Like, I don't know if there's one I know enough about. Probably the one I know the most about other than Ava would be Code Geass. I just don't know if I want to do that, to be honest. Let's see, Organized Sudan. Yeah, I don't really want to bother with Sudan, so I'll get rid of Sudan. Offload that onto some other people. Egypt's really the only worthwhile part of this area. There's one princess book. What are your thoughts on Enigmatic Fortress of Cuckoldry? Do your book. No, okay, so what's going to happen with my book? Okay, so that is a good question, actually, asked in a trollish way. So with regards to my book, when it's done, I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. I just initially was just going to self-publish it on Amazon, which I'll probably still do. It's been suggested to submit it to Countercurrents and whatever the other random alt-right publishers are and see if they'd pick it up. I almost don't even care enough to do that. I'd almost just rather... Because I don't really know what the value is, because no mainstream publisher is going to pick it up. It's too edgy for that. Also, the royalties are just really good on Amazon. So I was honestly just thinking of putting it on Amazon and just going on various shows, like people's channels, to try to promote it. Was kind of what my plan was for it, at least at the moment. So that was kind of my idea behind my book at present. Um, I will probably do a. I'll probably read the first chapter and I'll probably give out a bunch of copies for that. Like maybe the first 10 people to post or something, I'll give out a copy to. I'm still trying to come up with a cover and I'm still trying to come up with just some other stuff about it. A cover is, I guess, kind of the main thing that I'm kind of struggling with. And then after the cover, just some stuff like that. If anybody wants here, I'll publish. I've written the teaser trailer actually, or kind of the back cover of the book stuff. So I'll put that in the chat if it's not too long enough. If it's not too long. Yeah, so that is the teaser trailer, kind of the back of the book stuff. Read in Argent's monotone voice with rambling digressions. Yeah, if enough people buy it, maybe at some point I'll do a. I actually don't mind the new Berserk anime. I didn't think it was that bad. I don't really get why people think it was that bad, to be perfectly honest. I don't really understand why people think the new Berserk is like the worst thing ever. I mean, it's not as solid as the original one, but the original one was kind of a clusterfuck as well, to be perfectly honest. Why do people... Could maybe someone explain to me why people hate the new Berserk anime so much? We'll do a full audiobook. Oh, God. Why are people yelling why? What are you guys yelling about? I have no idea what you guys are yelling about. But there's nothing I can do. I digress. There's an event. The Obok purchase. Where the fuck is the Obok purchase on this list? Oh, okay. There we go. Gain Djibouti for France. Oh, we got disconnected. Oh, okay. It's kind of hard to tell. Iroli? Iroli, if you message me after this... no, I don't have a dude, actually. So, yeah, message me on YouTube, or you can message me. So, message me on YouTube, post a comment, or you can email me. That's my YouTube channel's email address. So, yeah. Does my book have a Teutonic goddess? No, it does have Lebanese women and olive groves, though. So it does have that. It does not have a Teutonic goddess. Yeah, and El Roli, if I actually use something from you, I will pay you. I'm not going to pull a DSP. Actually, if your work's good, I've been kind of in the market. Maybe just now that I have a stream, does anybody have a... I've been trying to think I should do some sort of, I don't know, a personification. Like, I don't know if I want to call it a logo, but you know how a lot of people will have like a cat or a dog or something like that. That's kind of the I don't know, the kind of the representation of the channel, something like that. I don't. Is anybody have any ideas? Like, I don't want to just do like a lame Templar thing because that would just be lame. So I was thinking of maybe doing a, what's it called again? Um, I was thinking of maybe a magpie was kind of the main one I was thinking of as with regards to animals. You can do a crocodile? No, I'm not doing a crocodile. That's yours. And that belongs to you alone. Here, this is the basic summary. This is the back jacket of it. Yeah, people got super triggered with the Espeon avatar, so I just decided not to go with it. I don't know. I still kind of feel like doing it as a fuck you because I really like Espeon. I actually have an Espeon plushie on my desk. Where is it? Is that the No Chads book? This is Victoria too. Is that a No Chads book? Yes, No Chance. There is a Chad in it actually. Okay, like the Espeon avatar. I might bring back the Espeon avatar and make that mine. I'm just worried about a massive number of people leaving and like getting like 1,000 unsubscribes overnight and just having people scream on me. So at me. But yeah. It's weird because it's okay when Bulbasaur does it or when Beckloff does it, but it's not okay when I do it. So I don't know. Jolteon is better in my opinion. Yeah. With Canada, and that's the story about Argent's life. Yeah, so basically what happens in No Chance will be to the death and armies party what Atlas Shrugged was to objectivism. It kinda sorta is. There was a there is a Chad character on it. Jeremy's best friend Brian is basically a paleocon that's completely out of place in modern America. So like Brian's backstory is he's like a red state American. Um So Brian's a red state American. He grew up in like inland California, and his dream from a child was to be a Marine, but he wasn't able to become a Marine just because of bullshit. Just some really really dumb stuff. Will Nazbel make an appearance? Yes. So he's not able to join the army, and so he kind of this like he declares basically that modern women are damaged goods. So he moves to Lebanon to find a waifu there. So he finds a waifu in Lebanon, and they live in future Los Angeles. And basically, he's just kind of a conservative stereotype. So he wants to have like 6 kids. He's like a trad cat. Um, he has like a whole bunch of guns everywhere. He just shoots people a lot of the time. And that's kind of like one of the running jokes is that he's just kind of very out of place. Like he's a better person than the main character, but his kind of approach to the world just won't solve anything, is kind of what I was going for in comparison to Jeremy. Jeremy is super jealous of him because Brian's waifu is like a traditional woman, and Jeremy's a complete and total failure at relationships with women, and he just goes completely crazy on a yeah. So very briefly, it's super absurdist. So I just have like a lot of scenes. It's fairly episodic. So like I have a scene that's basically directly based on Common Filth. His name is Average Degeneracy, and he has a gang called the Pause Pigs, and the Pause Pigs inject people with med-resistant AIDS because Average Degeneracy views it as being a gift from God, that God sent the med-resistant AIDS to humanity as a way to punish degeneracy, and that once all of the world does one of the characters fall in love with an Evangelion character? No, but the main character has an animal companion, like a Disney animal. Jeremy has a pig that he saves from a crush fetishist. So he saves a pig from a crush fetishist, and he names him Aristotle. Sorry, Eris after Aristotle. And at the end, where Jeremy kind of has his revelation, um, his pig says, "Congratulations." I wanted standard fuck parties, but okay, there is a standard fuck party in it, which I made more disturbing than the real standard fuck party. So don't worry, Bill is in it. There's a standard fuck party in it. There's just a lot of random references to shit. Like there's a character based off of George Zimmerman who appears briefly. It's very episodic and absurdist. I guess is kind of the way. It's ironically very critical of postmodernism while kind of being the quintessential postmodernist anime. Maybe AIDS is a way to punish degeneracy. No, Jolly, you weren't in it. The guy I had on for Nazbol Party, I Jaina cast a spell on Quinn Fang. What the fuck is Quinn Fang? Is that even like a real? I have no idea. Quinn Fang. This is your standard fuck party. That's the truth, and this will jerk off forever. The Zimmerman. No, his name instead of George Zimmerman is James Silverman, and he's the cameraman for when they're filming a documentary at one point, and they hire him as the cameraman. But no, no chances. Like it's super just excessively depressing. It's depressing in a humorous way. It's funny because I was originally I've changed it a lot. I just finished basically rewriting most of it. It was initially pretty different than it was today, but some people made some kind of suggestions with me, and I accepted most of them. But no, I like No Chance a lot. It turned out very well. So yeah, I don't know if you can have if you can do books for pre-order. So I might actually do that, and then that'll give me ample opportunity to go on and shill before I actually release it. So I don't know. Did anybody have any ideas for a new avatar or a new kind of personification for the channel and the quality content? Anyways, I think that's probably good for today. So, End to Evangelion will be out in a day or two. A couple other stuff is gonna come out. I'm almost done the study thing, so expect that soon. That'll probably be a pretty long video. So, anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.